For a long time, I've wanted to set a novel partially on Martha's Vineyard. And the way I got this idea is that when I do my events, I do 16 events per book, it never fails that someone in the audience will raise her hand and say, I love reading about Nantucket, but I'm really a vineyard person. So I thought I would be stupid and remiss not to write a book set on the vineyard. But I didn't quite have the idea until I was watching The Parent Trap with my 11-year-old daughter, and I thought, that's the idea. I will take one identical twin and put her with her mother on Nantucket, and the other identical twin and put her with her father on Martha's Vineyard. And this is a theme that's very dear to me because I am also a twin. I have a twin brother, so it's not quite the same, but I do understand the relationship of being with someone since you were born and sort of the closeness that's a little bit different from regular siblings. So it was very, very interesting for me to write about it. There's also natural sibling rivalry. And in some sense, there's a rivalry between these two islands that are sort of the, offspring, if you were, of the Cape Cod area. It's the two islands, and they're consistently compared and contrasted. So I feel like a lot will be made of the rivalry between the islands in this book. I did some research. I went over to the vineyard in February of 2016, dead of winter, and stayed for a couple of days. And I just fell in love with it. I had been, in the past, I have actually been to the vineyard. I went to the vineyard long before I ever went to Nantucket. But I really fell in love with the place. And what I liked most about it almost is it has all of the elements of Nantucket, but no one knew me there. So it wasn't my life. It wasn't my kid going to school. I didn't know anybody. So I could really almost be more myself than I would have been at home. It was very, very interesting. So I did have that sort of, switching lives feeling when I was there. I do. I mean, one of my favorite things to do in fiction is to take a character and expose all of his or her flaws so that the reader understands that this is a person who's done terrible things and is really, not perfect at all, and then offer them a chance of redemption or grace. I do it in my novel, The Rumor, and really in all of my books, but I love working people through to forgiving themselves, other people forgiving them, acceptance, and just the realization that we're all human beings, we all make mistakes, and we all deserve forgiveness. All of my characters, regardless of what book we're talking about, develop as I'm writing it. So I write everything longhand in notebooks, and part of the experience is understanding who the characters are. And Eleanor, at the beginning of the book is really quite she's quite tough. She's a battle axe. She's formidable. Nobody likes her. And then part of my job over the course of the novel is to make her more human. So she breaks her hip and finds herself in a compromising position and in the need of help. And she really softens during that experience. And I think watching her daughters go through their very painful interactions really awakens something in her about how badly maybe she made decisions or how badly she parented them when they were younger, and sort of selfish decisions that she made and how they ended up affecting her. And now she wants to step in and try, she definitely wants to step in and try and correct it. But she was a fascinating character to write. I loved Syracusa by Delia Ephron. I thought that was totally fantastic. I loved The Nix by Nathan Hill. Loved it, loved it, loved it. In fact, let's just take those two recommendations and run with them. They both were fantastic novels. Loved.